Okay. And we'll take care of a little house cleaning, a little business before we get started. And
turn it on, honey.
You guys can go ahead and mute yourselves. That'd be great, please. Thank you. Just a reminder that November 8th, we are going to have the meet at the Heathman for you that are local. Love to have you. And there we go. So it's from 9 to 12, and we have a great line of speakers and stuff, great stories to tell, and so we want you to come. So if you're able. Michael, welcome. Tonight we do have, I'm waiting for you. I talked to him as he's driving up to his house there in California. We have Tim Cox tonight is going to talk. He actually talked on the Miller Zoom call on Monday night and just did a superb job. For you that don't know, Tim has kind of been our mentor for the last 5 years. Him and the Millers and have really, this business is times you got to, you think, what am I doing? And we've actually learned that at those times when you turn to your mentors and say, just take a look, just take a look at what we're doing and tell us what. And a good mentor tells you. So,
and that's where the growth comes in.
Yeah.
Because the business does ebb and flow. What we want it to do is just flow. Mm-hmm. But that's where the personal growth comes in. So you guys are all leaders and you're all going to stick to it. And so we're not worried about that.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So
yes.
As I stall for Tim, are you on yet? I don't, he could be on my phone and I don't know. So
I'm here.
All right.
Well, can you see me, Jack?
No, I can't see you, Tim. So is it the little camera there at the lower left?
Okay.
Okay. Well,
so how do
if there's a red line through it, there you go.
Hi.
There we go.
There's the man.
Okay. We'd show you our weather temperature. You know what it's like. It's rainy. So, but let's go ahead and get started because, we like to keep this to a 30-minute call. We want to get you guys, Tim has always been a blessing to Sue and I. In fact, just everybody. He used to do the local meetings here in the Vancouver, Portland area. And I could say that Tim is really missed. But I think when I think of Tim, I think of a man of integrity. And he's just been such a blessing to us. So, Tim, I'm going to turn it over to you. And, guys, we're going to have a time of asking questions or maybe making statements and things along the way. So, Tim, take it away.
Well, hi, everybody.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, I'm glad to see all of you. So can somebody tell me what's on their heart tonight? I mean, where have you been? What's been going good? What are you struggling with? What's on your heart? Don't be shy.
This is where you have to pause.
Because we're family, right?
That's right.
So what's going on?
Our group is so quiet.
Hi, Tim. It's Carolyn Bowden. How are you?
Hey, Carolyn.
Long time no see.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm well. I'm just I'm having trouble with getting my coaches to do for themselves. They keep coming back to me and asking me to do, and I'm trying to push them out of the nest and make them go out. And they just I'm enabling them too much. So how do I stop that?
Okay, I'm going to write some questions down. And Carolyn, that's a really good one because we've all been there. So I've got that one,
It's called
okay, so how about somebody else? What's another question that y'all have?
I have one. Mine is just keeping the passion, or how do my coaches keep the passion going? It just seems like they're kind of up and down. And I know life happens. So, what can I do as their coach?
Okay, that's a good one. Hi, Diana. Nice to see you too. How about somebody else? Marty, you must have a question, Marty. Anybody else struggling or kind of wanting to figure out something? How is everybody's client acquisition and coach acquisition? Is everybody doing really well with that consistently? Shake your head, yes or no.
and Tim, you just put kind of the finger on what I was thinking of was being more skilled at being more skilled at helping them identify what really their why is and where the motivation is to see if it's really a good fit for them.
For clients or coaches or both?
Or both.
Sure. Okay, well, let's just start off with these questions, and I'll just share with you because you know what? We all struggle, and what's so great about this is that we can come together like this, but really a lot of our coaching practice is done alone, isn't it? I mean, we're out there on our own. And if you don't like being alone, create a community, right? You know, go out and meet people and make something happen. And it's so great that we can share together. And I would encourage you also too to know that you guys have a lot of life skills maybe that you haven't put to use yet. So let's talk about them getting coaches to do for themselves and keeping coaches motivated. You know what? That's a really good question. So let me take you back to my time at the cafe. When I used to, the staff that I had at the cafe stayed with me almost the entire time, 5.5 years that I had the cafe. And I was very intentional about building that team. So here's what I did. I put an ad on Craigslist. I got on average 250 applications. I would give 10 phone interviews, 3 face-to-face interviews, and probably hire 1 person. And that's just for a barista. And then it was tied to 3 things if they made it that far. And I always used to sit down with those people and I used to say, in the beginning of the interview, I would set their resume aside. And I just say, here, we'll talk about this later. Tell me about yourself. Tell me what's going on in your life. And the reason I did that is because the more a person talks about themselves, they can't hide who they really are. Usually when you go to an interview, you're hiding behind your resume and you're trying to do your best. And what I was really looking for was to build a team and a family, people that really wanted to be there as much as I wanted them to be there. And then somewhere in the interview, I used to ask this question. I would say, tell me what the words honesty, integrity, and excellence mean to you. How do they apply to your life? And you'd be surprised in those dialogues what you hear from people. And basically, in the end, I would say to them, well, if you're looking for a job, this is not the place for you. It's the coffee industry and the cafe industry. And while we pay better than most, it's still the industry that we're in. We're still going to deal with the public. We're going to wash dishes. We're going to clean the floors. We're going to learn our skills. And that's just the platform from which we have. I said, but what my goal is that you learn life skills and life principles that when you look back over your shoulder at the jobs that you've had in your life, you will look back and say, the time here moved me forward. And the only way that's going to happen is if you want to be here as much as we want you, because now we're at this last stage. And I used to ask this question, and stay with me here because this is really important, because I did a lot of work on the front end. And I had people stay with me the entire time. And then I asked them this. I said, tell me, what would it take? How much money would I have to pay you for you to give 100% of your effort every moment that you were here? And they would sit there and they would think, and I'd say, well, let me answer that question for you. There's no amount of money that I can pay you to have you engage and be present 100% of the time and give me your best. The only way you can do that is if you want to. And what I'd like you to do is really think about it. And if we'd like to have you now, and if this is where you want to be, and this feels right to you, then let us know in the next couple of days. Now, why did I go through all that work on the front end? Because I knew if you have the wrong team that you're working with, let's just say in a cafe you have 50 people waiting in line to get their coffee drink before they leave, and it's surprising to think how important things are to people. And I told the staff that you could change the world right where you are by doing this. Because if you invest yourself in what you're doing and you make it so good that it's art, and then you forget about that part because you're so good at what you're doing, and then you engage the people on the other side of the counter, you can actually change their lives. And one of the people, she said, about a month after we were open, we were doing pretty well, and she says, Tim, you told us that, but I didn't believe you. She said, but that lady that comes in every morning, she's dressed in a business suit, she never really smiles, but she gets the same drink every day. And she said today she went and fixed up her drink and started to go out the door and stopped and came all the way back and looked me in the eye and said, I don't really know how to tell you this, but I've been coming here now for almost a month. You're consistent every day. I know you really care about me. And it means so much to me to start my day here, and I just wanted to thank you. And she turned around and walked out the door. So the reason I say that to you is because you can't make anybody do anything. You can't make anybody go on program. You can't make anybody show up on time. You can't motivate anybody for very long. I mean, let me ask you this. Shake your head, yes or no. Are you motivated every single day, 100%? No. So motivation is really not the key, is it? What drives you? Like I've had the fortunate thing in my life to really meet a lot of, work with a lot of children and a lot of parents in my teaching career. And great parents, they're going to be great parents whether they don't feel good, whether they're tired, whether they're stressed out financially, no matter what, they're going to do their best for their kids, right? And you can't teach that. And it's not really tied to have to. It's tied to want to. And it's not tied to how you feel. So interestingly enough, when you're building a team, and we've all had this, we all wonder, gosh, if we do more. I'm framing it so you can start thinking a little bit, in your own creative way. That's why I'm going outside of our business. Usually, I'm going to talk about teaching now. And then we're going to bring it right back to some ideas on how to collect coaches and how to create a right environment where people can grow. When I was teaching, usually a teacher uses all their skill levels. And if they're not getting the results with their students, they raise their volume or raise their emotions. I want you to think about that for a second. If they've used all their teaching techniques and they're not getting the results with their students, the last resort is to raise your emotions and raise your volume. And how many, have you ever seen parents do that with kids? Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed, go to bed. I mean, and what's really interesting about that, I don't know what that is there, Jack.
If somebody's not muted, if you could mute, thank you.
So I don't know what it is about, that getting to that frustration level where you've tried everything that you know how to try. And the only thing left is to raise your emotions and raise your voice. And we've all been there. Can you say we've all been there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do we do that? I think first of all, how do we create, there's one thing we can do, and that's create an environment where people are loved and they're supported regardless of what they do. So, and it's really wrong of us to think, gosh, well, I've got 10 coaches and I do all this stuff and none of them really want to, at least they're acting like that, right? By their actions. So instead of trying to manipulate the situation, how about we come at it another point of view? What if we create the environment, first selection, right? And then create an environment that's conducive for a person to feel comfortable for however long it takes them to engage. An embracing community that teaches principles. And because that really is non-existent in the world today. It's all based on performance. If you're really good, you get something, you get a claim. And if you're not an A student, guess what? You're just a loser. Get to the back of the bus. Did you hear what I'm saying? So one thing, the reason our coaches aren't doing everything that we think they should do is because we don't know all about their life. How many of you have gone through a lot of life in the last couple of years, which has distracted you from doing what you really wanted to do? And how many people in your life know all about that? Is there very few people that know what you've been going through? Right? So we can pretty much know that the people that we're working with are going through it too. And I just take the approach that everybody wants to do the best they can. I'll give you an example. I got a coach that's an ED. It is now, and then for like 2 years, she said she wanted to coach, but never did my callbacks, never answered my emails, never answered my texts. Once in a while, I'd get her on the phone. You ever have anybody like that? I made a absolute determination a long time ago that my situation or what was happening would not dictate my attitude or my consistency. So I would just call her up and I would say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. I've got some more ideas. You know what? I'm here for you. Let's talk next week. Even though I didn't think she would. And guess what? One day she answers the phone. 2 years. And she goes, Tim, I have to be honest, I've never opened an email and I feel so guilty for not calling you back. But, I've got 2 twins, little boys, and I've got 2 girls. And it's just my life has been so crazy. It's been all I could do, but I've so appreciated your consistency. She says, but we've come to a crossroads. My husband is working so hard, and I want to contribute, and we want to put our child in private Christian school because she's old enough now, our oldest. And I said, well, and what's the problem? And she goes, well, it costs $2,000 extra a month, and I feel like I want to do that, and I don't want to put that burden on my husband. She goes, I was going to get my real estate license, but I make like $500 to $600 a month, and I really don't do anything and take shape. I was just thinking. And I said, well, isn't it interesting if you got your real estate license, it would probably keep you busy Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And that really isn't conducive to you having a family, is it? And supporting your children. She goes, oh man, I never thought about that. And I go, well, so do you realize that if you put on about 10 or 15 more clients, you'd have your $2,000 a month? She goes, really? Now, I could have said, didn't you read everything I sent you for the last 2 years? How come you didn't listen? How come you didn't engage? But, I said, yeah, really. And I said, the thing of it is, what I think we should do is take a look at how busy your life is and match your voice and your free time and see what we can do. She was ED in 30 days. Not only that, I taught her with some of her clients how to do that, and she's got basically 2 other EDs now. She's close to national, and she's still. Do you think she's got it all together? Do you think she calls? Do you think she's perfectly organized and everything now? Do you really think she made this massive turnaround? Yes or no? No. But guess what? Her husband comes home one day, and he's a lawyer in Atlanta, and he says, I hate my job. I wish I could do health coaching like you do. So guess what? We had a Zoom call. This was just recently. So I'm just saying you don't want to wait for an ED, but I'm just saying be consistent with your voice, but don't get attached because it's not you that is the problem. Let me ask you, how many people babysit you? 0, right? Yeah, Carolyn, 0. Don't you think that there's a lot of other folks that really are that way? So one thing that we can do is, if we look at our coaching practice and we want to grow, we need to have consistent client acquisition and consistent coach acquisition. And one of the things that we can do by doing that is really understanding everything that we can do to help folks. And then we need to continually create dialogues over and over and over again with people. And that's a whole topic in and of itself. But if we're consistent with that and we know what we can offer people, in fact, that call I did last night with Terry and David, I talked a lot about what we can do for people and what you're looking for. And it's that consistent dialogue with people. I mean, because someone will come along. Okay, let me just give you another story that you probably don't know. My health coach is Linda Dahl, and her health coach his name is Dirk Werhane. He's an executive at Intel. The guy's super busy. He lost 80 pounds. He's got 6 children, and he travels to 3 or 4 countries, usually 1 or 2 a month. He's a very busy guy. So when he went to, Linda asked me to come over to her house to hear about what coaching was about. We sat down at her table. He pulled out a little sheet that had some stuff on it, but we never really looked at it. He talked to me a little bit, but he didn't know. I was looking at him. I was thinking, do I like this guy? Do I trust this guy? And at the end of the conversation, I said, I like him. I like Linda. I've known her a long time. I like this guy. I should probably pursue it. And I remember leaving the house and getting in my car, and it was raining, and I was thinking in my mind, I liked what he had to say. I got a good feeling about it. I'm going to come to one of those meetings sometime. So 3 years later at National Convention, I saw him there, and I walked up to him and I said, hey, Dirk, I'm glad you're here. I just probably never thanked you enough for taking the time out that evening on a weeknight to really talk with me and share what coaching was about. And he started laughing. And you know what he told me? He said, well, I probably should tell you, I haven't really had the courage to tell you for 3 years. And I go, what's that? He goes, I left that meeting that night thinking that was a total waste of my time because I thought you hadn't listened to a word I said.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. Mm-hmm. Now, here's a learned businessman that travels all over the world that has a really top position, that's a great communicator, and his impression with dialogue with me was that was a waste of my time. And I think, I don't know, somewhere, what is it, Jack? If I count up all of our groups, that it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,000 to 10,000 people a year that get healthy just in my group alone. Mm-hmm. So I guess what I'm saying, Carolyn and Diana, is foster an environment of love and safety and interest in another person. Like that girl that went ED that was so busy with those kids, I called her up one day before this and I said, hey, got a great idea. I was thinking, you know what? I think I could help you grow your coaching practice while you're in the car taking your kids places. I would just start seeding stuff like that all the time. But when she was ready to do something, I was there. But I didn't wait for her. So I think the biggest thing is if we can go forward and really start being consistent. Is this helping at all, guys?
And I want to say, Tim, because I know you really well, is when he says he stays in touch, he doesn't. I think something we pick out sometimes 2 or 3 people that we think are going to be great, and then we wait for them. And the thing that Tim does is he keeps touching people's lives, but he moves on. He's has such a great way of just staying in contact, touching, hey, do you need anything, and moving on. But he doesn't. He might picture in his mind, these 5 people are going to go ED, I know. But he doesn't sit and wait for those. He goes out and finds 5 more. And then when they come along, So
Jack, that brings up a really good point. When you're following up with people, what I would encourage you to do is, when you're dialoguing with folks, find out about their life. Ask them questions. Tell me about your life. What's going on? What are you doing here? How's your work going? Got any big goals in your life? And then when you follow up with somebody, that's a bridge to the follow-up. I might say, hey, Jack, it was great seeing you the other day at Costco. I really loved what you shared about, you someday really want to use your life skills to impact people. And I want to talk to you at some point. I've got some ideas, and let's talk soon. I'm always going back and forth like that. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
So has this helped at all? I hope it has.
No, really.
Yeah, it does, Tim. And I think what we need is like 6 hours straight. But I think, I do want to give people a chance to ask you questions, Tim. If you've got, I know you've got a client meeting coming up and stuff. But this is your time. Tim is more than willing to help any of you with anything. So if you have a question, if you could just pop off real quick and ask the question, and we'll try to get as many done as we can.
Tim, I just want to say thank you because you remind us of why we got involved in this business in the first place. And it's so easy to lose sight, isn't it? Sometimes? So,
Well, I'm so glad you say that. What drives a person forward is that vision to impact the life of another person and being relentless in the pursuit of that. There's something very powerful and engaging about that relentless desire to make a difference in the life of someone else.
Yes.
And, that'll get you out of bed in the morning, and it'll cause you to be bold. There's a scripture I really like. It says, be bold before men, but be humble before God. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what your spiritual belief is, but we can take that in the context like this. Be bold when you're supposed to be bold, and be humble when you're supposed to be humble. And bold doesn't mean abrasive or aggressive. Bold can be in love. Bold can be in kindness. Bold can be in perception. Bold can be in persistence to hold a candle in your heart for the life of another person. And use your own voice. Use your own style. Anybody else have a quick question?
I'd like to say something. Go ahead, whoever that is.
Oh, I'm kind of new at all of this. And so you guys sound so far ahead of me that I just feel like I'm just a beginner. But I think I am struggling with knowing how to approach people. It's like I'm just stuck. I have one client, and she was doing good, not doing good. And I felt like, okay, I need to back off. I'm trying to be too much of a cheerleader. It's got to be her journey. So then, she's back on but I'm just working with one person, and I'm happy to do that. But it's like if I think about, I can go in the store and you go, you see all these different heavy people. So you go, should I go up and say something? Well, that's kind of rude. Or I just am kind of stuck. Or like I'm at work, and this one gal that's kind of heavy, she goes, oh, did you know so-and-so's a life coach? Well, now it's like, well, should I go up to her? She's heavy. I don't know what to say. I could say, do you want this tape? But I don't know whether I'm thinking too hard business and not enough just letting life. It's like, it sounds like you have to strategize and go out and do something.
I think, Glenda, let him answer it for you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, here's the thing about that. I call it earning the right to talk to somebody.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
And it's a very simple thing to do. Like, hi, how are you? Tell me something good today. Engage in a conversation. Notice somebody. And practice this, because, people love to talk about themselves and no one wants to listen.
Yes.
And it's not that you're trying to look for overweight people, because I'm just going to lay this on you. 100 million people are obese in the United States. 100 million people are overweight, and the other 100 million are on the way.
Yeah.
So, and here's the interesting thing. Of all the slender people that you see out there, Jack and I were doing a conference down in LA someplace. I remember where we were doing an American diabetes thing, and there was a nurse there for 35 years, and she says, I tell people all the time, there's a lot of skinny folk in coffins too.
Yep.
And because do they drink water? Do they eat breakfast? Do they have an advocate for their health outside their sphere of influence? Probably not. And so the biggest thing I would do is, share, talk with people, find out about their life. And do you have a story?
Glenda?
Yeah. But my story, I think I hear so many people that have lost weight, and that becomes their story, and they draw people in, but that hasn't necessarily been my main story.
Well, you don't really need, and we'll have to take more time on a call to really specifically talk about these techniques and the choreography. And
I love that.
Here's what I would probably say. It's like, finding out about somebody's life and finding out what's going on with them, and then having a simple thing. You might just say something, you know what? I don't know if you know this or not, but I recently took a health coaching course, and I kind of had this desire to, help people with what I was struggling with and what so many people are. And that's, everybody's focused on weight loss, but nobody can do it. So we have a little bit different approach in the system that I use, and that is helping somebody become healthy and then kind of walking alongside them and helping them stay that way. And you know what? It was so good to meet you. Maybe we can talk about that sometime. And you might have some friends or family that are struggling, and maybe we could help them. I don't know. I'm just making that up. It's just, you have to talk without the idea, because in your mind you're thinking, gosh, I have to go to a present. It's kind of weird, right? But if you take that out of there, and like I say, I feel bad because we don't have time to go into that, but I'd be happy to do that next time if you want to.
Okay.
That'd
Sounds
be great,
good.
Tim. And then and another thing that Tim has taught Sue and I both, and probably many people, is when I get up bold and ready to go in the morning and look to meet people, I'm really looking to meet them. If I see a heavy person across the room, I don't go with intent, well, they could really use what I have.
No.
It could be a skinny person, it could be a heavy person. I go there. Tim has taught me, find out about the person. Those other things will develop in time, and so we go with the intent of finding out about the person. And like Tim says, you ask enough questions, they're going to tell you their whole life story. They'll tell you about the fight they had with their husband, how the kids are place. They'll do all that, and you just got to sit and listen. So.
And the other thing is, we have a wonderful program. Is there a time where I can sit down and share more with you about it? Rather than say it all right then.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should maybe, Jack, we should do and Sue, we should probably do a call about, really how to engage people and the choreography of that. Well, and, the whole key pieces of it so that people can. Now, it would be just like this. Let me give you an example. Let's just say we're going to do an advanced acting class. And we're going to work on scripts and choreography, but you're all unique. So you're going to bring your own voice to the part. And the script that we have is about really our play, our story, our movie is about changing the life of another person profoundly and growing ourselves in the process of doing that. And so we can dialogue and work on the choreography and some ideas, and you can fix yourself into that. And then you will find that your voice becomes comfortable and more powerful. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yes.
Well, Tim, I know you've got to get going, but it's a great idea. I would love to do it next week, same time, same station. But I know, Tim, you got to check your schedule and stuff, because I think this is the one thing is that we have to learn. We can't drag people to something, but we do have to learn how to engage people, learn about them. Once I've got to know a person, I've never been a problem talking about what I do, and I don't talk about what I do to get them. I just talk about what I do because I'm passionate about it, and I'd love for them to know what I do and stuff. And so, that would be great. Real quick, anybody got a quick question before we
maybe
terminate?
One more. Maybe.
Yeah, anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did that help at all, guys?
It really
yes,
did.
Tim.
And
Yes.
I just noticed that's how brilliant I am with Zoom. Terry Miller, you're on. Hi, kiddo. Did you want to say hi to the gang?
Oh.
She may not be around the thing, but anyway. So thank you so much, Tim. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so
Gave
much.
us a lot to think about.
Yeah, and take the stuff that Tim said to heart. I think he laid out a lot. I have recorded this. If you want the recording to where, like me, with Tim teaches me something, I record when we talk now, because then I go back and play about 10 seconds, write about a page and a half of notes. So,
Jack, can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
I know this. Terry Miller taught me something right in the beginning that has served me extremely well. She said, basically, when you get done explaining or sharing something with someone, you ask the question, let me know when you want to get started. Mm-hmm. So, what did I learn from that? It's about bringing people to a point of decision.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is to continually bring people to a point of decision. Like if I was talking to Diana, I hear so much about what you're saying about, you know, the coaches that you have that you're not, they're not growing the way you want to, but I'd like to release you from that, spending your energy there, support them in love, but let's take that same energy in your kind way and let's go out and engage other people and maybe build a new group that you can work with. That, and when you blend those two groups, they'll inspire each other. What do you think about that?
That's a great idea.
Now, see how I brought her to a point of a decision?
Mm-hmm.
She could have said no, but I took what she needed and what she wanted and brought her to a point of decision, just like now that I've explained the program, if I've answered all your questions, let me know when you want to get started. I mean, there's nothing worse than being left hanging, like, well, this has all been good, but I don't know what we're going to do now. Mm-hmm. So if you can think about that in your mind, that when you're talking to people and you're engaging people, use the information for the benefit of their life. And like Terry Miller taught me, bring people to a point of a decision for their benefit. They'll appreciate it. Diana, did you appreciate me walking you through that?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Right? Because you know what? She's got lots of energy she's spending, but not getting a lot of result back. So that's going to weigh on her. It's like being really thirsty and pouring your water on the ground and missing your mouth, right? So what we're going to do with her is maybe have a dialogue and say, you know what, how could we best spend your energy? Wouldn't it be refreshing to you to have a dialogue with other people, get them engaged, and then run together? Wouldn't that be kind of fun? So let's talk about how to do that next time if you want to. See how she's shaking her head now? That's called bringing people to a point of a decision based on what they shared with you. So play with that idea, because I think that you'll have fun with that and you'll start seeing some things move.
Awesome, Tim. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Awesome as always.
Bless you guys.
All right, bless you. Guys, I've got a 6:45 with my challengers, so.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
We'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you, Tim.